All right, let's dive right into this explainer and transform you from an overwhelmed student into a totally confident test taker, ready to absolutely conquer academic reading. Think of me as your personal tutor today. We're going to break down the mechanics of the TOEFL reading section and give you the exact step-by-step strategies you need to succeed. Look, if you're struggling to chew through these dense academic texts while that clock is just ticking away, you are definitely not alone. The complex sentence structures, the heavy vocabulary, the pressure of the timer, it can all feel like this massive, impossible wall. But today, we're going to tear that wall down together, brick by brick, with some highly effective, proven strategies.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be looking at 1. The TOEFL Reading Challenge, 2. Mastering inference questions, 3. Conquering summary questions, 4. Nailing insert text questions, 5. Time management and mindset, and finally, 6. Your weekly study plan. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The TOEFL Reading Challenge.
14 minutes. That's it. That is the unofficial sprint time limit you have per academic passage. See, while you have about 30 minutes total for the whole adaptive reading section, managing your time literally down to the minute for these longer texts is what makes speed and accuracy equally vital. You really have to train your brain to read efficiently. But before we even look at a single question, let's talk about your physical setup. Whether you're relying on the test center's provided scratch paper or you're using your home edition's erasable whiteboard, maximizing your physical comfort is actually your very first step to managing pre-test anxiety. Knowing exactly how you'll take notes removes a massive layer of stress on test day.
Section 2. Mastering inference questions.
These are the questions that consistently trip students up because, well, the answer isn't staring you right in the face. You gotta play detective here. You need to deduce logical conclusions based on contextual clues and unstated information. You're searching for what the author strongly implies, not just what they explicitly spell out.
Let's actually walk through a live practice question with a step-by-step analysis. Imagine a clear example passage about phylogenetics, which is the study of genetic similarities across species. The text notes that a ghost bat looks physically like a pigeon, but genetically, it's closer to primates. If the question asks what we can infer about species relatedness, we follow our steps. Step 1, we read the prompt. Step 2, we hunt for the clue, which here is that genetic markers matter more than looks. Then step 3, we eliminate the physical traits trap in the options, focusing purely on that genetic similarity clue to confidently deduce the right answer.
So here's your quick checklist for inference questions. First, eliminate extreme language. Words like always or never are massive red flags. Second, analyze the author's tone. And third, practice active reading by creating your own practice inference questions while reading at home. It's a game changer for training this muscle.
Section 3. Conquering summary questions.
This is where you have to zoom out. You need to look at the forest instead of the trees. To ace summary questions, you absolutely must learn to distinguish the structural backbone, the essential main ideas, from the supplementary supporting details. A supporting detail might be factually true according to the passage, but if it's just a minor example, it does not belong in the big picture summary. To do this quickly, I always demonstrate how to sketch a simple paragraph map. Just create a really simple visual diagram in your head or on paper. Think of the topic sentence as the foundation of a house. The supporting evidence, that's just the paint on the walls. When you map out the relationships between different paragraph ideas like this, the essential main themes instantly stand out from the minor evidence.
Remember this top 3 checklists. 1. Sketch those simple paragraph maps. 2. Focus heavily on the topic and concluding sentences. And 3. Beware of the trap. Just because a minor detail is factually correct doesn't mean it deserves a spot in the summary.
Section 4. Nailing insert text questions.
I actually love teaching these because it's literally like snapping a missing puzzle piece into a nearly finished picture. To solve these, you need a solid grasp of paragraph relationships and the natural logical progression of the text. You aren't just reading for facts anymore, you are emphasizing logical connections and paragraph flow. How does sentence A logically lead to sentence B?
Using context clues for identifying logical sentence transitions is your secret weapon here. You can use visual flowcharts to track common transition words that signal paragraph shifts. For example, if your missing puzzle piece starts with a contrast word like however, you know it needs to go right after a sentence presenting an opposing thought. If it starts with a cause and effect word like therefore, you're looking for the cause that leads to that exact effect.
Here are your top 3 tips to lock this down. First,
track those transition words. Second, identify pronoun references. If a sentence says this discovery, the previous sentence better mention a discovery. And third, always read the sentence immediately before and after your insertion point to guarantee a flawless fit.
Section 5. Time Management and Mindset. Technical skills are great, but let's categorize some common student mistakes so we can refine your overall test-taking approach. Translating literally in your head? Huge time waster. You have to practice thinking directly in English. Also, when you rush, you end up misreading instructions or confusing main ideas with supporting evidence. Recognizing these habits is the first step to fixing them.
You've absolutely got to use timer drills during your practice for faster reading comprehension. Set a hard limit. Budget roughly 60 seconds maximum for those tough academic questions to avoid burnout. If you get stuck, make an educated guess based on your eliminations and keep moving. Getting bogged down for 3 minutes on one question will just sabotage your score.
Now, what about staying calm under time pressure? First, use mnemonic devices and shorthand symbols to recall key text details so you aren't writing out full words. If panic sets in, use mental preparation techniques. Take a deep, controlled breath to manage that pre-test anxiety. And above all, trust in consistent study habits instead of last-minute cramming, which just clouds your memory.
Section 6. Your weekly study plan.
Let's build you a concrete, day-by-day blueprint. Knowing the strategies is only half the battle. Follow this timeline. Weeks 1 and 2, build your foundation with daily active reading. Weeks 3 and 4, introduce those timer drills and log your errors. Then, weeks 5 and 6, include a time simulation segment. You want to practice under pressure by simulating that official 14-minute per passage limit so you don't freeze up on exam day.
You have the strategies, you have the checklists, you have the study plan. You now know how to think like a detective, sketch paragraph maps, and trace transition signals perfectly. Stick to this plan, trust your training, and you're going to do great. So the only question left to ask is, will you let dense academic texts intimidate you, or will you use this playbook to completely take control of your score?